Hey guys, Leah with Gumball Properties. So I thought I would take some time to answer some common questions that we get, especially from a lot of HR professionals. Those in the HR realm deal with a lot of different things, right? Every day looks different for an HR professional. And at Gumball Properties, we like to help come alongside HR teams and help them in assisting their corporate relocations, or even if it's just corporate temporary housing, just to help alleviate some of those pain points for those HR professionals. I'm going to answer some questions that would work for HR professionals, and then I'll also answer some general questions about what is corporate relocation, what is corporate housing, and things like that. Right now, I'm sitting in one of our fully furnished corporate rentals. This is just a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. We offer a lot of different types of homes. You can check out through our website, or you can reach out to us too. But let's just dive right into some of these questions. So I think one of the biggest questions we get is, what is corporate housing? So corporate housing is fully furnished housing, and it's generally anybody that needs something more than 30 days. So it could be corporate relocations, it could be temporary work assignments, it could be just anybody coming here and working remotely for maybe a few months. Generally, when you have corporate housing, there is a lease that is still involved, but it's not like your typical year-long lease that most people might be used to, where you go and you look at a place and it's unfurnished and you sign a lease for 12 months and you set up all your utilities and you buy all your furniture and then you move in for a year and you either renew your lease or you find somewhere else to live. So a corporate housing lease is, you're still going to negotiate with us the terms that you need, whether that's 3 months, maybe 6 months, or maybe 9 months, 12, whatever you need. We'll work that out ahead of time, and there'll still be a lease that's involved because everything will be outlined in that lease. But the difference between coming to Gumball Properties for furnished housing or for a corporate lease is that everything is here for your client or your customer or your employee, whoever you're trying to find housing for. When you come into a Gumball house, there's going to be your table, there's going to be chairs, there's going to be a fully stocked kitchen in terms of utensils and plates and cooking, all of those things. There's going to be beds, there's going to be linens, sofas, desks, pretty much whatever your employee or client customer needs. That's what we offer. So it is flexible and it's whatever your client needs. Instead of that 12-month unfurnished lease, you're getting a 3, 6, 9, even maybe a 1-month lease, and it is completely furnished with everything that your employee or client or customer might need. So I know that kind of a lot, trying to put a bubble on like what is corporate housing, but it's really for anybody that needs housing that's more than 30 days. A corporate relocation is when a company either hires somebody from out of state or they're moving to a different state, and so they need to find housing for their employee or their new employee, whether that's in the new place or getting a new employee to where they are. And so a lot of times corporate relocation is also one of our sweet spots because the housing market can be crazy and it can be unreliable from day to day. And so what we like to do is help come alongside those people and give them a comfortable place to land until they find a longer lease, a more permanent living situation, or even navigate the housing market and find a house to buy. So we just like to help with those corporate relocations as well. And so we can help HR professionals from that standpoint get their employees settled and rocking and rolling with remote workspace, fast Wi-Fi, things like that. So there's no waiting to set any of those utilities or things up when you come into one of our furnished corporate rentals. Like all of that is already done for you, and you can just go ahead and focus on what you need to, whether that's your remote work or finding a home or anything like that. So that helps answer some of those questions. Another question we get a lot is corporate housing a good idea? So if you are looking for anything as an HR professional that's 30 plus day stays, and not just an HR professional, if you're looking for anything, if you're HR professional or if you just work for a company and you're doing it on your own, fully furnished housing for more than 30 days, staying at a corporate rental like one of our units is going to end up saving you money than a hotel. You're going to get more space. You're going to get a full kitchen. Gumball Properties, we have exclusive discounts with local businesses. So you're also going to get to tap into the local market a little bit. And whether that's trying some food or coffee, any of those fun things, getting some fun shirts that say like Tennessee, things like that. So we also offer discounts to our guests. So there's a lot of perks about staying at a corporate rental over a hotel. But once again, some people might like the hotel feel, and I understand that. It can be more cost effective and you end up getting more space, more privacy. There are trade-offs though, because you're not going to have, if you would like to set up daily housekeeping at one of our rental properties, we can set that up for you. It'll be an additional fee, but all it takes is calling us and letting us know what your employee or employees need during their relocation or remote work. Just let us know, and then we can work on that ahead of time. And that's another reason why getting all the details set out in the lease is very important, because then we know and we have all the expectations. Your employees have the expectations, and it really just helps alleviate some of those pain points because there's no surprises. There's no additional fees that aren't discussed ahead of time. Everything is ironed out and you're good to go. Alrighty. How expensive is corporate housing? That's a good question. So pricing really depends on the market, the season, the unit type, the home type, and your terms. It's usually a little bit higher than unfurnished, and it's usually cheaper than hotels if you're looking at something for more than 30 days. But really, all of those factors can manipulate the end result. And on our website, we have a contact form. We also have forms at the bottom of each one of our units that say, I'm interested in this one. And you can put in your budget, like what size unit you're looking for, whether that's a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom. And you can put your budget, like my budget's $3,500, XYZ. I need it for 3 months starting in 3 weeks. You just fill out all that information. And then we look to see if we have something available where you're looking that fits all of your needs. And then we go from there and we start communicating with HR about all the extras that you would like, or maybe things that there are there that you don't need. And we really try and create that living experience for your employees during this time. And it just really helps also during that transition or remote work, whatever they're here for. Does corporate housing include utilities? Typically, yes. Electric, water, internet, cable, streaming, a lot of those things. We do have extra things that can be bundled into your price as well. But yes, like your basics like electric, water, and internet. Some of our locations do have a usage cap, which means we negotiate with you for the lease terms on that cap. So whether that's, just to give you an example, maybe one of the houses you have a utility cap of like $150. So then once you had $150 for that month, if it goes over, then the employee or the company, depending on who is renting the unit, just has to pay that difference. And so we cover it to a certain fee. And once again, that is determined when we're setting out the lease terms. So there's no, surprises because we just communicate with you those fees. Okay. What is another name for corporate housing? Well, that's a good one. Furnished housing, midterm rentals, corporate stays, corporate rentals, temporary housing. I think all of those words, phrases, whatever you call them, those are all kind of the same thing. It all kind of falls under the corporate housing. Even though the word corporate is in the title, it doesn't mean that it's only for corporate people either. It's really just fully furnished housing at the end of the day, right? Because that's all that we're offering is rentals to people and helping them feel comfortable and at home. Can a company rent for an employee? So yeah, if there's a corporate lease, we can do that. We just have to manage the terms ahead of time. So if you're an HR professional and you want to rent on behalf of your company for an employee, we can do that as well. Once again, it's just something that we have to communicate at the beginning, and you just have to let us know. What does corporate housing look like? That's actually a good question. So residential, we have downtown, whatever kind of flavor you're looking for, it's going to be a private unit. It's not going to be a room within a house or multiple rooms within a house. It's going to be your own private, whether that's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, whatever you're looking for. It might be in an apartment building. It might be a free standalone home. It might be part of a duplex, and it's just fully furnished and it basically has everything in it that you need. You would just need a suitcase, or your employee would need a suitcase of their personal items, but otherwise everything is there. So a corporate housing, like from the outside, looks like just a regular house, right? If there's a balcony, there might be some furniture out on the balcony, whether that's a house or an apartment, and then everything is just furnished. So instead of walking into an empty place that you need to furnish and that you need to set up utilities, everything is done for you and you can just hang out. So that's what corporate housing looks like. How does a corporate lease work? I think we kind of talked about leases a little bit already, whether that's the company, the HR person, or the individual that signs the lease. Once everything, the lease terms, which is the length of stay, the amount per month. Usually we can either do one payment a month, or we could try and have everything paid if you wanted to work out a payment plan to have everything before somebody moved in. Like, once again, we can figure out the payment terms. Typically what people do is they pay every month. It just really depends on the lease terms that we negotiate. And then we just figure it out and we can curtail it and get the experience for whatever your employees need. I think for us, what we're really trying to do is to help alleviate some of those pain points for HR professionals that are trying to help their employees either relocate, move, or just slide into a remote work position for a little while, because it's a delicate balance and it's not easy for everybody to do those things. Change is hard, right? And especially picking up and moving to a new place, whether you have a family and you're trying to figure out school districts, or you're trying to figure out X, Y, and Z. Those are things that we can also help your employees figure out, whether that's in Tennessee or Connecticut. We like to just come alongside and say, hey, listen, if you're interested in living here, this is your school district, or this is what, this is X, Y, and Z to all the things. And then that really helps your employees not have to feel alone in that search, or whether they need a real estate professional and they need somebody to help them find a house. We also can tap into our locals guide, if you will, of local businesses, and we can help put you in touch with those people to help get your employees the help that they need to really help the transition or anything just be super comfortable from start to finish. You're going to be dealing with us. We're just a husband and wife team, and you're not going to be, outsourced anywhere else. We wouldn't recommend one of our places if we wouldn't stay there. We've done a lot of traveling. We've done a lot of remote work, and it's having a place to kind of just have as your home base is so important. And we really understand that. And so we like to try and think of how our past of traveling has influenced where we are now with our corporate housing. And it's been a really fun experience so far to be able to help other professionals get acclimated to an area or hang out for a few months and remote work and explore a new part of the world that they've never explored before. So I hope that going through some of these HR pain points, employee pain points of corporate relocation or corporate housing definitions, things like that, I really hope that that helped all of you out there. And if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out to us via social media or our email. You can do stay@gumballproperties.com, or our website is www.gumballproperties.com. Gumball with 2 L's. We're here to help you along this transition for your employees or for yourself. We're here to help you guys.